So today I made a commitment to do 2 hours of business research every day for a week. And today I sat down and I was like, business research, where should I start? And then I was like, oh, I've been saving business content on Instagram for a really long time. So I actually turned on this transcription app that I have, and then I just watched back through probably 50 different Instagram reels about business content, business strategy across a huge range of business strategies. People talking about affiliate marketing, growing your Instagram account, doing sales techniques. And the things that stood out to me the most were definitely sales techniques. There's this one that really caught my attention because I'm starting to think that I can use the philosophy strategies that I've been using for my philosophy work to approach the problem of business. It's just first principles thinking. So just ask the question, what is the best way to do a given thing? And then also like, is that thing the best thing to do? And you just try and find the best thing to do. And then also the best way to do that thing, and then in lather, rinse, repeat. And I've found that it usually works best to just use a really broad net on your first pass. And I don't actually know how much of the content that I consumed today was actually useful. There's a lot of stuff that was obviously intended to be aimed at people who are trying to get rich quick, which, as far as I can tell, is an industry in itself. Content aimed at people trying to get rich quick. And I don't want to engage with that kind of content. I think that most of it promises unrealistic returns and probably does not actually tell you the relevant information that you need to know. With that said, I did find a couple of things. So there was one, it's a story about a guy who was a car salesman, and he's the best car salesman in history. And he sold 6 cars a day for 40 years or something, some shit like that. And he had only one marketing strategy, and that was to write handwritten notes to people he had already sold cars to. And apparently, it just was like a fire sales strategy. People felt like he saw them as people, and the personal touch led them to recommend other people to go to him to buy cars, and also led them to come back and buy cars. And this guy was talking about how he tried that in his real estate business, and he got 50% better sales without doing anything except for just doing that. And I was like, 50% better is pretty good, although it's definitely not best of all time sales good. So obviously, there's a question in that story about the guy who was selling one of the best car salesmen in history, because 6 cars a day for 40 years is a lot of cars. I don't know, it's got to be hundreds of thousands of cars or something. Maybe not hundreds of thousands. Definitely, maybe like, I don't know. It's probably like 500,000 cars or something he would have sold in his career, which definitely sounds like best of all time numbers. But this real estate guy I was talking about, he only got 50% better sales, which is like, so it's a trick that works. There's another one where a guy, he was doing finance sales or something, and he started doing a thing where he would hire a beautiful woman to either to be in the room in the background on his Zoom calls while he was making sales, and he got 60% better sales or something. This kind of information is really interesting to me, sales related information, like psychology, market psychology information. This is kind of stuff that I feel like matters most. There's a lot of small business strategies. One guy was talking about how you can take $1,000, email a whole bunch of people, telling them that you have a car that you can sell for $1,000 or something. It was a strategy for flipping cars to buy a better car and a better car, selling the old car to buy a new car, and quickly get 20 grand in a month through flipping cars. And it's like, I'm sure that is a thing you could do. And it sounded like he actually has done it, I guess. But I'm sure there's also a lot more to the story because he explained it in 30 seconds. And I don't know, there's a lot of stuff like that where I am confident that every single one of these strategies could work. And also maybe even has worked for maybe half the people who explained it. Although some of them were outright just like AI content slop creators. They were just like, just here's a way that you can leverage AI to create videos really quickly and easily with a script. One of them was for children's music on YouTube. Another one was also on YouTube. He was using Sora to create content that was reactionary for YouTube. And I don't know, I kind of want to stay away from all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people talking about how you can grow an account on different social medias with different posting strategies, and yet there's even more accounts talking about how just having followers doesn't actually bring you money. You need to be able to leverage your followership. You need to be able to do brand deals, and also, I don't know, affiliate marketing stuff, and it's really interesting. It's like a tangled web of interesting facts to know about. Anyways, so I transcribed the entire thing, and I'm probably gonna go through. I'm done with my 2 hours for today. Although I didn't really use all of it, I got really tired at the end, so I probably wasted a half hour. I was eating some snacks and some other stuff, but I am going to go back through and notate all of the stuff that I actually I don't think I will notate. I think I'm just going to start doing fresh research tomorrow. I'm going to take the top 3 or 5 ideas from the stuff that I went through today and the things that interest me the most and research those more. I'm really interested. There was a couple of things. I think there was one from Mark Zuckerberg talking about how he hires people at companies. He said that his rubric or his delimiter for hiring someone is if he would be comfortable working for them at a different company. If he was going to get hired by them, would he be comfortable working for them? That's how he hires people. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. That's the kind of information I want to know. I think I might try and do a specific deep dive into the business psychology of all of the most successful business people, because I'm sure that all of the most successful business people have dropped a lot of interesting psychology and philosophy about business. And I really want to. There was a thing from Sam Altman. He used to do Y Combinator, and he had some interesting points he was sharing about stuff in Y Combinator. And so I also think I will probably try and do an overview of business knowledge from startup schools and accelerators, and see what kinds of information those things can teach you. And they also, I don't know, I've been thinking about this a lot since I started doing my philosophy project, that they tell you you should launch early and launch now, because trying to make a perfect product doesn't make any sense when you can perfect the product down the road. You just need to start the ball rolling and launch a business. And so I'm also thinking that I want to start looking into the process of how do I start a company, and hopefully just go jump through the legal hoops of getting one started this week. And not, I think that that takes very much time. I think it probably takes 40 to 30 minutes to an hour to start a company legally, to do all of the paperwork. You need to have a business name, you need to have a business idea, I suppose. But I think all of the stuff that is relevant is really easy to do on the internet. You just need to register yourself and some other stuff. I did listen to something that I thought was very interesting. There's listen to this woman talking about how she has a business that she does not technically legally own, but it's her business, and she has herself listed as an employee of her business, not as the owner, which means that she can do some interesting legal loophole stuff when it comes to taxes and some other stuff. And she's talking about incorporating. I thought that was really interesting. I'm really interested in legal tax loopholes and business law and business psychology and business philosophy stuff. This is all my wheelhouse. Understanding these dynamics. I'm really interested in sales psychology and philosophy. That is something that seems super interesting to me, because it feels like an extension of what I've already been doing, and also really applicable to this new business problem. Anyways, that's all for today.